Hey guys, welcome to the Storybook Panda channel. We left off last time with Ironheart's and Skyfury's families captured by a group of soldiers. Skyfury sacrificed himself to save Ironheart with the hope that his blood brother would be able to save their wives. If you need a quick refresher, check out the previous videos. Otherwise, let's see what happens next. So without further ado, here we go. Ironheart was overwhelmed with fury due to losing his blood brother this way. He looked around and realized he had lost sight of their wives in the chaos. The soldiers re-engaged him and he responded with a renewed rage. He slew them one after another with his spear and managed to take another horse and rode off. Then he heard a woman screaming in the distance as she was being carried away on horseback. He picked up one of the bows from a dead soldier and shot an arrow at the horse. The horse fell and tossed the two riders off its back. He rushed towards the area and helped the woman up. It was his wife, Charity. "Ironheart!" cried Charity as she threw her arms around him while sobbing. "What is happening?" Ironheart embraced her, trying to console her. "Skyfury is dead. Have you seen his wife Lily?" "Yes, they carried her away on horseback in front of me," replied Charity in between the sobs. "I have to go rescue her," said Ironheart as he released his embrace. "I'll come back for you." She clung on to him tightly. "You said we would never part. You said we would die together." "I need to find Lily and save the Kwok family line." He held her close and kissed her. Ironheart could feel Charity's cheeks, damp with tears, pressing up against his own. His heart broke knowing what he was about to do. But the thought that rang loudest in his head was, "Skyfury sacrificed his life to save mine. I must save his unborn child, even if it's at the cost of my own life." He tore Charity's arms from his body, picked up his spear, and ran towards the direction in which they took Lily. After a few dozen meters, he turned back and made out the silhouette of Charity, seated on the ground with her face buried in her hands, crying as the soldiers surrounded her. He wiped the tears from his eyes and summoned all his energy to focus his thoughts. "I must save the descendants of the Kwok family. I must save Lily and the unborn child," as he marched on. The sun was beginning to set when he came across a stray horse and tracks on the ground. Suddenly, there was a woman's scream coming from the forest. That must be her, he thought. He mounted the horse with his spear and dashed towards the scream. Moments later, he was confronted by a mounted soldier. After a few rounds of engagement, it was clear that this soldier was different than the others. Not only was he able to hold his own pretty well, he also had a curious choice of weapon, the Wolf Fang Club, a preferred weapon of the Jin. After a few more rounds of dueling, Ironheart was convinced that this was an elite member of the Jin army. But what were the Jin doing here? He didn't waste any more time and channeled more power into his young family spear and knocked the soldier off his horse. The other soldiers fled. "Ironheart!" He looked over and saw Lily, but suddenly an arrow whistled through the air and struck his back. He felt a sharp pain cut through his chest. He steered the horse towards the direction of the arrow and saw a group of soldiers amassing. He clenched his spear and charged forward. The only thought in his mind was, "I must hold them off while Lily escapes." But the pain became unbearable, and a darkness began to overtake his vision as he fell from his horse. And that's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Leave your questions or comments below and I'll be sure to address them in the near future. And I'll see you next time on Storybook Panda.